Hi, we're Ariel.
And Michelle, and we're the Board Game Tutors.
Today we're doing Just the Basics, Part 4, for the board game Forbidden Desert. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. So in this video, we're going to be showing you an example of gameplay. We're going to do 2 rounds, and that way you can get an idea of how the game actually plays. So here as we've gone over in previous videos, we've set up our board. There are 24 tiles. You set them up in a 5x5 grid with 1 blank space in the middle, which is why it's not 25 tiles. And so that middle spot, that blank spot, is going to be the eye of the storm. And we shuffled the tiles and then randomly laid them out in this grid. So every time you play, you'll have a different assortment of, or different layout of the tiles.
And then the sand.
So we placed the sand in a diamond shape, as you can see on all the tiles. There are 8 pieces of sand that get set out, and they'll be covering the board in that diamond shape that you can see.
Basically around the eye of the storm. Okay.
So we've put our 2 characters, our adventurers, over there on the starting spot because that's where the starting spot ended up this time. You can see where our helicopter crash landed. We have our adventure cards out. So there's the water carrier. That's the one that Ariel is going to play as. And over here, I have the explorer adventurer card set out. We have the water set to the highest level. So you can see that black marker. It shows that I have 4 water right now. And on Ariel's card, he has 5 water because that's how much the water carrier has. There's also some text on these adventurer cards that shows the special ability of that adventurer, but for the purposes of this video, we're not going to be going over the special abilities. We'll be doing those in a later video.
We'll do a specific video about each of the adventurers and their special powers, so that way you have a better understanding of how those work.
Then over there we have our storm meter, and we've put that marker on it to show what level we're going to start at. So since there are 2 of us, we're on the 2-player area, and there you can see we're starting on the normal setting.
I'll just move that aside. It's pointing to the elite one right now. Now it's normal.
That means we'll be drawing 3 storm cards as we in the beginning turns of the game.
And as you can see, that's that whole shaded area. So this is all 3. This is 2, 4, and 5, etc. Okay.
And then over here, we have the one new component that we haven't introduced at all yet. These are the gear cards. So sometimes when you turn over a tile, it will tell you to draw a gear card. If that happens, we'll show you an example of a gear card from that deck.
And turning over is basically excavating.
That's what that action is called. And in a future video, we'll be going over all the gear cards and exactly what each of them does.
Same as the adventurers. They get their own video because they're special. All right. So let's go ahead and start out with the first 2 turns. So let's see. Did we decide who's going first? You or me, Michelle?
You can go first.
Okay. So I am the water carrier. So as we saw, let's flip this over just to remind ourselves. You take up to 4 actions, any of these 4 actions. And then after I take my turn, which is my 4 actions, and I will be using all 4 actions because you can almost always make use of every single action. Then the storm takes its turn. So first I choose my 4 actions. Well, let's see, I'll leave that on that side. So I'm going to go, I'm the blue player. I will go 1 for 1 action, 2 for 2 actions, and this is not blocked, so that's fine. 3, so I move 3 times, and then lastly for 4, I'm going to flip over this tile. So I grab my pawn, I flip this over. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. He fell over.
So this tile is called a part location clue, and it gives us 1 element of discovering where the engine is hiding in the desert.
So yeah, you can see here there's a nice pretty little picture of where the engine is partially located. You see a gear there. And right here in the bottom right corner, this tells you it's a part location clue because if you look at over here, right here, oops, don't jostle the table, Ariel. So here, there's the picture of the engine. It matches that picture over there. So that's how we know half of the clues that are necessary to find the engine. So, and as you can see from the arrows on the left and the right side of this tile, it will be in this row. But obviously, this tile might move because the storm moves stuff around. So we don't know exactly where it's going to be, but whatever row this is in, that's where the part will be located, the horizontal direction anyway. All right, so that was my 4 actions because I did 1, 2, 3, and then flip that for 4. Okay, So my turn is over. I've done my 4 actions. Now we do draw storm cards equal to the storm level. As we explained before, we're playing on normal, so that's 3 cards. So the first card is 1 card to the right moves left. I said a card, but that means a tile.
So there's the storm. We find the tile to the right and move it to the left.
Did you hand me a sand, Michelle?
And yes, then we place a sand on that tile.
So that was the first card. Second card, flip that one over. 1 above goes down. So I grab this tile, move it down 1.
And again, we place a sand. This time we're going to flip the sand piece over so that it shows that the tile is now blocked because it has at least 2 pieces of sand on it.
And there's the X, so that way you know it's blocked. It's a visual cue, obviously, to remind you. And now my last card for the storm's turn, that is basically the second half of my turn. All right, storm picks up. So we've explained this card already. Move the sandstorm meter up 1 tick mark. Start drawing this amount the next turn. So we're at 3. Now we're moving up 1. So we're still drawing 3, but now we're on the elite setting. So at least that right now, that's where the tick mark is.
Right. If we had started on the elite level, then we would have put the tick mark there at the beginning of the game.
Right. So that is that. So my turn is over. Nothing too horrible happened. So now it's time for Michelle's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to take my explorer and I'm going to move up so I can explore in that direction. So let's see, I'm going to move 1 space and then I'm going to clear sand ahead of me. So that one.
I'll take this 1 sand. Take this from me, Michelle.
Okay, that's my second action. For my third action, I'm going to move up to that spot. And then for my 4th action, I'm going to excavate that tile.
Let's move you out of the way, ship. There we go.
Ooh, another good one.
Yeah.
So this is a part location clue for the, whatever that red thing is called,
It's
the navigation
compass,
deck.
the navigation deck, the sundial, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
It looks like a sundial.
Yeah, so it's officially the navigation deck. But yeah, so great. Michelle picked wisely. And now we know the first half of where to find that piece right here.
That was a good couple of first turns because we got 2 part location clues already.
And yeah, so that is that. Okay, so that was, I think that was all 4 of your actions, right?
That was all my actions. Now we're going to do the storm's turn.
Okay, so in order not to get confused when you draw new cards, I like to take these cards and just push them aside. So maybe put them over here so they're out of your way. So that's the discard now. So now Michelle, as we can see on the storm meter over here, she still draws 3. So that's okay. It's still the same as me for right now. Flip over the first one. 3 to the right, move left.
So let's see where the storm is.
There's the storm.
There's just 1 tile to the right, so we're just going to move that 1 tile over to the left and put the sand on it.
Thank you, Michelle. All right. Sorry. A little slow. Okay, so that's the first card. Second card. Sun beats down. Okay. So players each lose 1 water unless they're in a tunnel under a solar shield. We haven't explained that text yet, but we will in a future video. So for right now, we're both out in the open. There's nothing protecting us. So I, as the water carrier, will lose 1. So I'm down from 5 to 4. And Michelle, she's the explorer. She goes down 1 from 4 to 3.
So basically we each just took a drink of water.
Because the sun was just that hot. All right, last card for Michelle's storm turn. 1 to the right moves left.
So as you can see, there are no tiles to the right of the storm, so we don't need to move any tiles this time to get a reprieve.
Okay, as you can see here, there's the 3 cards. So now I'd take those and push them aside and put them in the discard pile. So the only reason I separate them is just to be clear, so that way you know when you're in later rounds where you're drawing 4 or 5 cards, you don't lose track and draw 6 by accident or 4 by accident when it's not the time to do that yet.
Right. This way you can just see how many cards you've drawn so far on your turn until the turn ends.
All right. So that was my turn, then Michelle's turn, and you can see how far we are right now. Not doing too badly. And yeah, so that's an example of how the first 2 turns in a 2-player game of Forbidden Desert might go.
All right. So we hope you enjoyed the content of this video. Remember, you can subscribe to us on YouTube at our channel, The Board Game Tutors. You can also find us on BoardGameGeek.com. Our username there is The Board Game Tutors, one word. And we really appreciate any feedback. We appreciate you sharing our videos, leaving comments, any questions or clarifications. And yeah, we really appreciate you guys watching.
All right, so everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Forbidden Desert video.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.